welcome back to my channel. My name is Picky and this is the Blocky Place SMP episode 3. And this is going to be one really excited episode because it's finally time to start building my Megabase. In last episode I finished my starter base, so I have this hobbit hole with this custom cave, and I actually said that I'm going to build some pears and some trees in the front, but I didn't. But still, the starter base is pretty much completely finished, so it is time to start with the new project. And this mega base is going to be the biggest project that I have ever done, so I'm really excited to start with building. And the location for this mega base is actually going to be really close to my starter base, so right over here in this plains biome. So all of this area, all of this what you can see, and the area that you can see, because render distance is not good enough, this is going to be the place for my mega base. So there is going to be lots and lots of work. And I already spent a lot of time collecting the materials, so I dig out this whole area for the stone and everything that I need for this build. So this is going to be enough for the start. So all these shulker boxes are full of stone, and then this is the other materials that I'm actually going to need, plus some other materials, but this is going to be enough for the start at least. But it would be enough of talking, and it is time to finally start with this project. And first thing that I'm going to do is actually mark the area that I'm going to need for this mega base and build the edges of the mega base, and then I'm going to see what area I need to terraform, and I will probably need to remove a lot of these little hills around this area for this build to fit. And then when I do this, I will be ready to finally start with building. So see you after a time lapse. The marking of this build is done, and I actually didn't even tell you what this build is going to be, but you can probably guess by now that this is going to be some kind of castle. And I actually just built this for me to see where everything needs to be, and so I don't mess with measuring later. And it's actually quite big. This build is quite big. So from one edge, so from edge of this to edge of the other side is around 230 blocks. It maybe doesn't seem like that, but it is quite a big build, so it is going to be a lot of work. And you can probably guess that these circular things are for the towers. So this is going to be the smaller towers, and these are going to be the bigger towers on the walls that are actually going to be even bigger than this circle. This is just the base of the towers, and then there's going to be another layer on the front. You will see everything later when I start building. And this side where I'm right now is going to be the front side. So entrance is going to be over here, and this is going to be the back side with a 4th tower. And actually this is going to be the build where probably the back side is going to be more interesting than the front side. So that's one quite nice thing. Quite often people don't even finish the back of the builds that size, so this is nice to know. And you can see that I built this thing a little bit in the air, and this is just for me to save some time, so I don't need to dig all of this dirt and the stone in this area. Even the big part of this build is over the water, so it probably wouldn't be that bad, but still I think that it's going to look even better when it is elevated a little bit, so it doesn't look like it's built in the creative. And of course later I'm going to fill these gaps, but for now it's going to stay like this. And the stone bricks layer is actually the first layer of this build, so this is going to be the first layer of the walls. And now when you know what this build is all about, it is time to start with building. And there is a pink sheep, so this is probably good luck, right? See you after time lapse. Few hours later and one bit is finished. And this actually took me quite a lot of time because I didn't want to build these walls just from stone bricks, so I added a little bit more texture with stone and cobblestone, so it took a little bit more time. And I'm not completely satisfied with this job because it looks a little bit, I don't know, a little bit weird with these pieces of cobblestone and stone, but it isn't even that important because as you can see in this side that I already finished, you can't see most of this stuff. So I will just need to go through this wall again and through all of these walls, and on these pieces where you can actually see the back wall, I will need to add a little bit more texture with cobblestone and stone, so it will look a little bit nicer. And just to build these walls took me around 2.5 hours, and then for this little decoration of front wall took me almost another hour. So it is quite a lot of work, but I'm not complaining because I actually expected that it would took me even more time. And we already made quite a nice progress. I might even be able to finish with these walls in this episode, decorating all these walls. It will took another few hours, but I think that I can do this. And then the towers I will probably do in next episode. I don't think that I will have enough time to finish it today. And also take in mind that I'm not the best builder, so this design might look a little bit weird, but right now this is the only thing that is sticking out in this build. And when this build is actually going to be finished and when these towers are going to be in place, then it's going to look much better in overall design. And now it will be time to continue with building and to finish these walls. And now one part of the base is finished, so I finished decorating these walls, and I think that now it looks much better than before when only one wall was finished. Now when nothing is sticking out, and I made this middle part a little bit different as it is the main entrance to the base. I added a little bit of these beams with lanterns. Even you can't even see this light as it is quite a big build, but I think that it looks quite nice. And off camera I replaced a little bit of this chisel stone with some direct walls. I think that now it looks better, and I textured a little bit of this netherrack brick. Even you can't even see from the distance as it is quite a dark block, but still I think that it is better when it has some texture with some chiseled netherrack brick and a little bit of cracked netherrack brick. And that would be it for the walls. The only thing that I didn't do is add some texture to the back wall as I said, but I think that I will do this later. Now I will focus on some bigger things, and when I finish most of the build, then I will add some smaller details as this texture on the back wall. As you can't even see this, you don't even look in the back wall, so I think that I don't need to waste my time on these small details. And I said that I won't do these towers today, that I will finish only the walls, but now when I have these walls, I think that only right thing to do is to finish the first side today, so I will do these towers, and maybe I even do the smaller towers in the front of the base. So let's continue with the building. Many hours later, and one part of the build is finally finished. These towers are finally finished, so it took me more than 10 hours just of building to finish these towers. For these smaller towers I need like 2 hours to build this one tower, and for this bigger one I need 3 to 4 hours for each of them. So it took quite a lot of time, and I'm really happy with it. I think that it turned out quite nice, and the small towers have a lot of light with the soul lanterns and end rods, so at night it looks quite nice. And with that, first part of the build is pretty much finished. So this front side is mostly finished, and yes, this tower is still floating in the air, but I will just add this patch of dirt so it will look more natural, let's say. But details I will add of course later. And yes, on these small towers I will need to add texture on the wall, because it really stands out when you add a little bit of cobblestone and sand and stone, regular stone. It looks much better. But like I said before, for now I will mostly focus to finish the build, and then later I will add these smaller details. And now when it's night, it is good time to show you how these towers are glowing. And this back wall is mostly dark. You can see a little bit of light on this top side, and on these towers, in the bigger towers, you have just this little patch of these end rods for lighting. I don't know if I want to add more lighting to this back wall. Zombie, you are really annoying. You need to be gone. Okay, but these small towers look really nice when it's glowing, so it is not that dark. And from the air it looks quite nice. It is quite a big build. It maybe doesn't seem that from the sky and from distance, but when you are walking next to these walls, you can actually really see and appreciate the sheer scale of this build. And that would be it for this episode. It took really long time to finish this part of build and to finish this episode, so I hope that you like this build. And in the next episode we are going to continue with this build. I need to finish at least these back walls and maybe these towers. So these towers are going to be the same towers as these ones, and then these smaller ones are going to be different. but this is the plan, so in next episode we are continuing with the build, but for now this would be it. I hope that you like this build, and I hope that you like this episode. If you did, hit the like button and consider subscribing, it would be really nice and it would help me a lot, and it only takes you like 2 seconds. That will be it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode. Goodbye!